Hi, it's Mark Beaumont and I'll be taking part in Doddie Aid 2025 to raise vital funds for research into motor neuron disease. And I'll be cycling, of course, the best activity of all. Beat that!
There's only one activity for us, rugby, just like Doddie.
Can we just go for a walk? We don't really do swim caps. No offense.
Well, I agree, ladies, but personally, I prefer something a wee bit more relaxing. Oh, for goodness sake.
Whoa. What's all this talk about the best activity? It's about finding what works for you.
Whatever you choose to do, just make it count.
Join Doddie Aid today. Pick your activity, log your miles, and help us tackle motor neuron disease.
We're in this together.
Try to keep up, Mark.
Hello, happy Wednesday and welcome to the Doddie Aid Live Show with me, your host, Bruce Aitchison. And we have been moaning for the last how many weeks about not knowing what day it is. Well, I hope you're happy because now it's Wednesday and we're right in the middle of the week. So there you go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. We are back. This is the best bit of hump day because from here on in, it's the slide into the weekend. And this is Try Something New week. Do you know what I want to try? I want to try going for a walk with those two ladies that give Mark Beaumont a hard time because they seem like my kind of gals. They're not interested in swimming caps. They're certainly not bothered about Mark Beaumont on his bike. They just want to go for a wander and give people stick. They are my kind of ladies. So I'm going to try and track them down, and I reckon they should be some live show guests. So if you agree, please comment. Let's put this as a wave out there. We want the true stars of Doddie Aid on the live show. Those two ladies next week live on here with us, and put your questions in. So if you agree, comment, please. Let's make sure we get the message out. It's been an incredible start. There are 13,000 of us all signed up to Doddie Aid. That's a lot of snoods. And I'm told these hats, I think, have sold out. I think the Doddie Aid hats have sold out. So I don't know what you're going to do. I think what you need to do is just buy another snood. Get people involved. Buy somebody a snood. We've got 13,000, but there is room for more. So tell your friends they need to try something new. I hope you enjoyed the Zwift ride on Sunday. 1,300 people joined Chris Hoy for the Sunday morning Zwift ride. 1,300 people. That is outstanding. That is just incredible. I don't even have a bike, never mind one of the fancy ones with a TV on it to follow Chris Hoy. But that is incredible. Get involved this Sunday because he is back. 10 a.m. Sunday morning, Chris Hoy. Now, do you know what else happened? Those 1,300 people have put £7,000 in the pot. £7,000 in the pot towards the Doddie Aid total to get to the foundation, to get to the researchers, to try and find us a cure. You people are doing some amazing things. Now, speaking of amazing people, we've got a couple of them on here tonight, and I am very much looking forward to this. He's had to trade in Naga from BBC Breakfast to have to speak to me. So I'm not sure if he's climbing the ladder or if he's now having to kind of make do with what he can get. But I love this guy. I love his energy and enthusiasm. And we're going to talk a little bit about park run because I have been known to do a park run. I've limped around a few. And actually, I want to quiz him on his park run knowledge because I know who's got the world record for the park run. Now, if you know, put it in the comments. If you know who's got the world record for the park run, put it in the comments. And if you know where it was done, put it in the comments because I'll be very interested to know. And he's Mr. Park Run, this guy. So I'm keen to hear. We've got the amazing Cherie Gregg is tuned in, last week's star. So it's great to have her with us. Add your comments if there's anything else that you can stick in there. get involved. This is the community. Doddie Aid is all about you people. So let's not waste any more time and bring in the one and the only Mr. Luke Hames Brown. Hello, Luke. How are you?
Hello, Bruce. I'm not bad, thank you. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How was Naga?
Naga was lovely. They were amazing. It's really odd though, because this is quite nice because I'm looking at my screen and I can see you. So, you know, A, that's obviously lovely, and B, I can see the person I'm talking to, so it feels a bit more real. When you do that stuff with BBC Breakfast, you just have a blank screen in front of you. You can't see anything. It's a little bit disconcerting, just kind of talking out into the ether. But so this is quite nice, a bit more interaction.
I like that, Luke. You're an absolute sweetheart. I knew this was going to happen. And maybe Naga could learn a thing or two from Doddie Aid Live.
Maybe. It's just me trying to butter you up to make you be nice to me.
Well, that's always going to happen. Do you know what I also loved about that interview you did? She asked you a question and you just went for it. And Kerry had to sit and twiddle his thumbs. Anyone that can silence Kenny Logan is right up there in my book. So well played. Well, so give us a little bit of your story. So not everybody maybe who's watching was able to tune in to BBC or seen it shared on social media channels. Tell us your story and why you're involved with Doddie Aid.
So I'm involved with Doddie Aid because I'm living with MND. I'm a GP. I'm a doctor. And I was my background is working as a GP. I had a special interest in search and rescue medicine, so I was volunteering for mountain rescue and lowland rescue for 10 years total, getting involved in expedition medicine. And then in early 2022, I started to notice a few things. So I was catching my foot a little bit slower, you know, on my park runs than I had been. That was actually how I first noticed it. And then gradually the symptoms didn't go away. You know, I thought, oh, I've pulled a muscle, I've tweaked something, it's a bit cold. And then gradually those symptoms continued, didn't go away, got a little bit worse. I started to struggle with squeezing little delicate, you know, sort of bottles of things for examinations at work, that kind of thing. And then I saw my GP. I was referred to the neurology team, went through quite a few investigations. Initially, it was thought that I probably had a spinal injury from some old injuries I've had. I would advise anyone, if you're going to dismount a horse, do it off the side, not over the head. It's not a good idea. But yeah, so they thought it was all related to that kind of stuff. But then the symptoms carried on, didn't go away, and then reviewed some of the investigations, looked at a few more things, and then I was told in April 2023, yeah, you've got motor neuron disease. And since then, I've been involved with the foundation doing some fundraising. So last year now, it's 2025. Last June, myself, my wife, our parents, my parents, and some family and friends, we walked the length of Hadrian's Wall to raise funds for the foundation. And we did it in June, and we've so far raised just over £55,000 for the foundation, and for other motor neuron disease charities, and just really trying to bang the drum to say we need to do more. We need to do more. We are in so much of a better position than we were 5-10 years ago, but we're still not there. You know, I'm still sat here as someone, you know, living with MND, saying there are no real meaningful treatments for me yet. You know, I can take a tablet that, you know, might give me 5 to 10%, you know, longer prognosis, but I don't think that's acceptable. You know, we need to be pushing more. We need to do more. And until, you know, we can sit here and say we've got meaningful treatments that significantly increase, you know, life expectancy, or we have a cure, we're still not there. Keep going, keep pushing. And that's why I've stayed involved with the foundation. I'm involved with some of their research stuff, with the Discovery Network and with the Scientific Advisory Board. And it's why I've got involved in Doddie Aid, to say, get out there, do something. And Doddie Aid's amazing because you can obviously people linking with this probably already know about it, but go and shout it to your friends and your family, to anyone. You don't have to be a runner. You don't have to be really fit and some kind of super athlete to do this. Any kind of movement, I'm doing it. And, compared to what I used to do, I'm a lot less active than I was, So yeah, that's how I've got involved with things, just really trying to keep on pushing and banging that drum.
Look, if I could take my hat off without my headphones, or I'd take it off to you, because you've also silenced me for a good 6 or 7 minutes, so well played. But your story fascinates me for lots of reasons. As a GP, I believe you'd actually dealt with a patient not long before you started to, I don't know what the phrase is, sense the symptoms and be aware of your own symptoms. How do you, putting yourself back in the GP's shoes, how do you support someone?
I think it's about, as a GP, trying to be there for them, to listen to them, to take seriously the story they're telling you. These symptoms can sound quite vague initially, but really listening to that, understanding the story, recognizing this is something that needs to be looked into. Because this isn't a condition that gets diagnosed by a GP when you go and see them. It's a condition where you're trying to rule out all the other causes. This is the one you really don't want it to be. You sit there and you talk to that patient, and when I get someone coming in saying, "Oh, I've got a bit of foot drop," or "I've got some weakness developing in my hands or my legs, or my speech is changing a bit," I'm thinking, anything but MND. I want it to be something else. And so you're hunting to find the things, but it's about supporting that person through that process and answering their questions where you can, signposting them to information when they need it, and just trying to, I think, support them along through that process. MND is something that needs a multidisciplinary team behind it. It needs those specialist neurological teams who are amazing. But it also does need, the community teams and the GPs to be involved as well, supporting the kind of prescription medication, supporting the care needs that people develop. And it's something where we as doctors can play a huge role in helping people. But I
hope I'm not stitching you up with this question. How aware were you of How aware were you of MND before all this?
I think very much aware of it, knowing about it, knowing it was, a condition and what the symptoms were. In terms of what it's like to live with, I don't think anyone can really know that until you or someone you know is experiencing and living with it. I think it's something that it's far more common than a lot of the general public and the medical profession maybe realize. It's huge numbers of people develop this condition. I think we're talking, I think the stat is something like 1 in 300. That for me was mind blowing to find that out. Is how common this is. But I certainly learned a lot more about it, obviously, once I was diagnosed. And I think dealing with a patient from a GP perspective, I'd say it's a different side of things. You're looking at it very clinically. You're trying to be holistic, to look at everything around what's going on for that person, but trying to be there for them when they need it. Certainly I've learned a huge amount more since, and I think it definitely is an area where we need to push on the education of the whole population about this. Getting more awareness into doctors to think about this maybe a little bit earlier, perhaps. To try and to push the urgency of those referrals. Yeah.
And you mentioned about being involved with the foundation and the research. So as someone who will understand this better than a clown like me, you understand illness and treatment and how long these things take. So, again, I'm absolutely inspired by the way you've gone about things, not just you walked Hadrian's Wall and you raising money, but to actually be in there, research, let's find the cure, someone with a bit of knowledge. Doddie's frustration was nothing had really happened for a significant amount of time. Since Doddie's diagnosis, we've probably seen an acceleration, but we've still got a long way to go. How do you feel about those things, the progress that's been made, but the distance that's still to travel?
I think the progress that's been made is incredible. I say I think if you look at where we were even a few years ago, its stratosphere is better. The funding is now starting to come in. We're getting more researchers interested in this, and certainly from the boards that I've been on, I'm seeing the incredible variety that is out there of research and the different things we're looking at. But we need more. This can't stop. And I think a big danger is when we're talking about this, that we are rightly very positive about everything that's happening, but we need to make sure people realize we're not there yet. The number of conversations I've had with people when I first told them I was diagnosed, and I said I've got MND, and a lot of them thought I had MS. That's one thing that happens a lot. But then the number of people who would say, "Oh yeah, but there's a cure for that now, right? There's treatments for that, aren't there?" And it's kind of really trying to get home and make that point stick of, no, there isn't a cure, and the treatments are very, very limited. We're still looking at riluzole, which has been around for quite a while now, and we're not getting past that. We need to keep doing more. I'm very aware that for me, the involvement I have in research and supporting that is very much, it may well be what I call planting trees in a garden that I'm never going to see. I desperately hope that in time for me, we make one of these breakthroughs. But I know that I don't want other people in the future to have to go through what I'm going through, for friends and family of people to go through what mine are going through. This is a condition that is so hard, not only on the people with it, but with those around us. And anything we can do to make a difference to that in the future is so vitally important. The actions people make now, even if it's making a donation, going and joining Doddie Aid, telling someone else about it, all those actions add up to making a huge difference in the future to beating this disease. Every little bit counts.
Amen, brother. The park run is something that's pretty close to your heart. You've been involved in it. It was one of the signs, I suppose, of you realizing, because your time started to get a bit slower and probably brought about a bit of frustration. Now you go down and you volunteer, but you're trying to encourage people to two birds with one stone. Doddie Aid, park run. Give us your park run pitch. Go for it. Because there'll be people on here that will have heard about it and think it's one of those cults like CrossFit or what's it called, the High Rocks or whatever it is. So go for it. Give us your pitch for park running for Doddie Aid.
So this is going out to everyone who already does park run but hasn't signed up to Doddie Aid. Everyone who's doing Doddie Aid and has started up park run. To everybody who woke up hungover on New Year's Day, with that banging hangover, thinking, right, this is the year, I'm going to do it, I'm going to improve my health. This goes out to all of you. Parkrun is amazing. You don't have to be a supreme athlete. Parkrun is for everybody. They now have the park walkers going around as well to really make that point. You can walk around parkrun. If it takes you an hour, it takes you an hour and 15. It's fine. You're there. You're doing it. You're never going to be the last person in parkrun because you have the tail walkers there going around at the back. And it gets you up on a Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to go and do that exercise. Or if you're in Scotland, 9:30, which I'm so jealous of. It is so. I did one on New Year's Day, and it was so much nicer having to get there at 9:30, not 9. Just awesome. But they're all over the world. Parkrun can get you traveling the world, going to different places, meeting incredible people. I've had so much support from the parkrun community, going from running 23, 24 minutes for a 5K, trying to push quicker, to it gradually taking me, you know, around an hour walking around with my sticks, to now I tend to volunteer, particularly in the cold. I'll volunteer instead. But everyone's so supportive. I feel involved in that community. And why would you pass up, you know, doing something really worthwhile and enjoyable, and at the same time giving back by doing it, you know, doing it as something for Doddie Aid? Just, you know, giving that bit back, you know, you can make a difference whilst doing something. Sorry, I'm laughing because a message is pinged up on my phone from a group of friends who, whenever anyone gets any kind of media exposure or anything, they're told they have to buy cake, and I've just been told I have to buy all the cake.
Yes. Literally all the cake.
All the cake. Yeah, parkrun is just awesome. Go and do it. It's great fun. You won't regret it. I've done them in different places in the world. Kate, my wife, and I got into it. We got my parents into it, her parents. You know, you can get so many people involved. It becomes such a wonderful thing, you know, on Saturday morning to call up our parents and say, did you do it? How did it go? And again, use it as part of your Doddie Aid.
Nice. And this week's try something new. So if you've not done a parkrun, get involved. Now, here's the quiz, my man. Here's the quiz. World record parkrun was done where?
Oh, I'm going to guess that
why is Bruce got a big smile on his face? Where was the world record parkrun? It wasn't.
Well, I think it was probably north of the border in Scotland. All of the ones I've done in Scotland have been really hard, and would not have got a world record because I did the one in Foscali Forest running through there, and then I did Inverness. So I'm guessing maybe Edinburgh.
Correct. Well done. Correct.
Yeah.
And there's no chance you're going to know who it was. So everybody's now Googling that so they can put in. It was done just down the road here in Edinburgh, and I'm pretty sure it was GB athlete Andy Bouchard, who is, I'm not sure if they're married, with Lindsay Sharp, who is also GB athlete. So yes, very impressive. The parkrun is a great thing. I can vouch for that. I've done it a few times, and like you, enjoy the community, enjoy how it feels, and knowing that you're doing it with other people. You know, if I was to go out here now and try and do a 5K, I'd probably do 3. But because you know there's a start and a finish, you go and you do it, and it's it's a cool thing. It's a good group to be involved with. So well done. So Luke, I really appreciate it. It's been great to speak to you, but now I'm going to give you the floor. 30-second pitch. We still want people to sign up. We've got 13,000. We want more. The floor is yours, my man.
Please do it. You're going to make a huge difference to people like me living with MND, our friends, our family. You never know, at some point in your future, and I don't mean to sound morbid, you or someone else might be affected by this god-awful, horrible disease. Do something now to make a difference to that, and do it in a fun way. Do it by getting exercise. I did a parkrun on New Year's Day, and as a perfect example of how anyone can get involved in doing this, I ended up chatting with Eve Muirhead, you know, who was doing the parkrun, who is an amazing legend, a lovely, lovely lady. And there was me, and there was an Olympic champion, and we were both doing parkrun. It is for anyone. She's got involved with the foundation before anybody out there can, and any little thing you do will make a huge difference. Have fun with it and shout about it. Please do.
I love Simon Carter's giving you a bit of stick on the comments by saying that you're name dropping. But now I'm going to privately message you because I need to find out what parkrun Eve Muirhead's going to, because that's likely going to motivate me to attend more parkruns. Eve is a supporter of Doddie Aid. She's wonderful. And although you're saying an Olympic athlete, she bowls on ice. Let's not get too carried away here.
Oh no! Then I think I will let you know which one it is, and you can go there and see how close to her heels you get, because she's rapid.
She's a machine, isn't she? She is a machine. She's traded really hard. No, very, very cool. Well, Luke, listen, it's been amazing to have you with us. Thank you so much for coming on and telling your story. Keep going. Please keep in touch, and hopefully we're going to add to that 13,000 total. But in the meantime, all the best, fella.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Bruce. All the best, everyone.
Thank you. Awesome. What an absolute star. Love that. And similar to Doddie, right, this is what I've got, but I'm going to make things better for others. So absolutely class. Love that. And he's got an Inteve Muirhead, so let's look after him. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it's given you some motivation, maybe to try something new, maybe to try a park run, to get other people involved, to donate some more pennies if you can afford it. It all counts. But also, I hope what you got out of that was, let's spread the message. Let's make sure people are clear on this. There is confusion. Is it MS? Is there a cure? Oh, there's lots of it in the press, but people don't pay attention to it. So maybe they think it's because things are going well. So, spread the message. The awareness is important as well as raising the pennies to do the research. There's some unbelievable work going on, and some of the photographs on social media are so cool. Some of you are up to absolute nonsense. Amanda Perry has got me giggling with some of her nonsense. There's so much going on. Please keep it going, because it inspires other people and it makes us feel that community, even though we might not be able to get in touch and see each other. Because we can see it on our screens, it is definitely doing the job. So please keep it going. A huge shout out to the team managers. We've got Big Handsome Sean, who's also pushing the buttons and pulling the strings behind to make this happen. Mark and Steph down in the valleys, who make me laugh every day. Richard and Morven, who are just relentless. They are Duracell bunnies. And then this year, to try and make lots of the Doddie Aid stuff happen, we've got digital volunteers as well. So a huge shout out to everybody who is putting in the graft behind the scenes, because it is so cool and it's needed. And let's face it, we've got 13,000 people and we want to grow that. So all of these volunteers, all of those other little bits and pieces need to happen. So a big shout out and thank you to all of those. Amanda Perry's chirping away on the comments. Nonsense is my middle name. I reckon it could be your first name, Amanda. It is class. So part of the work that's been going on is one of our amazing photograph montages to music, and when better to play it than right now. So here's some of what has been going on this week. I hope you enjoy. Who was that outside the nut house? If that was you outside the nut house, I need to know where that is, because I want to go to the nut house. And I'm pretty confident if you knock on the door, it'll be Amanda Perry that answers it. So I love that. Everything. Loads of Welsh. Love that. But lots of them not really willing to show their face, but definitely show their snood. So big up to everybody in Wales, people in the gym, people on their bikes, lots of snow. Of course, Mary McInnes, because she gets everywhere. She's like water. And then the Tide Lines fan, love a bit of Tide Lines. We should get them involved. So much nonsense going on and spreading the word. And here's something I'm going to say. If you see someone wearing a snood or doing a bit of Doddie, say hello to them. Make the connection, because although you might not know them, you're in the same gang. So spark the conversation. Find out who they are, what they're doing, where they're from, what their story is. Do a little bit. Let's build the connections within the community, because it's so very, very important. How good was Luke? Really amazing to have a conversation on the back of Cherie last week, and then Luke this week. It just keeps going. So now it's time to speak to the person at the top, and I think this is the first time we've had the big boss on. So I think I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to address her, if it's ma'am or if she can see me bow. But please welcome the one and the only CEO of the My Name is Doddie Foundation, Nicola Roseman. Hello, is it ma'am? I'm not quite sure.
Hello.
Hello.
I usually answer to most things that you call me, Bruce. Certainly not nonsense is my middle name, that's for sure, though.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well. I'm keen to know how things are going at the top, because we've known each other for a while, and I think it's maybe worth telling a little bit of your story. Can we rewind the tape to Hong Kong and your involvement with the foundation from your time living in Hong Kong?
Yeah, no, you're right. We have known each other for a few years now. But yeah, I was in Hong Kong when the foundation started and Doddie went public with his diagnosis, and the community in Hong Kong knew him, loved him, and got right behind him. So I was part of a group of people that did a Doddie dump. We got involved in dinners and different things. So just general community fundraising as best we could there. And there's some brilliant people out there that continue to do that and support us immensely. So I was part of that when I lived there. And then when I found myself back in the UK in 2021, I found a job that was the My Name's Doddie Foundation were looking for a CFO at the time, and it was right up my street. I am, for my sins, an accountant, and being involved in the foundation in Hong Kong was wonderful. Like I said, the community was such a brilliant part to be. So I put my application in, got an interview, and was thrilled when I was offered the job. So I've been with the foundation in the UK for the last 3 years. This is my third Doddie Aid here, and every year it surprises me with the crazy stuff that people get up to. But yeah, Hong Kong's a very special place for the foundation, and continues to be. So I still have plans to go back this year with my family, and I will continue to do that for as long as I can. And hopefully I will be attending many a Doddie dinner over there.
Yeah, I'm still jealous. I've never been to one of the dinners, and it was great to see Martin Murray being recognised in the honours list this year. Obviously, a massive supporter of the foundation. And then I saw pictures today of Pierre Schumann and Duan van der Merwe supporting the Hong Kong Scottish effort, which has been brilliant. And obviously, the foundation are on the shirts of Hong Kong Scottish.
They are. They came to us and said, it's slightly different. Normally your title sponsor, that's us paying for that privilege. But they were like, we want to do this. We want to raise awareness in Hong Kong. Can we? And we were like, absolutely. It's the right thing to do. And we're so pleased that they have. We've got some great exposure. They've contributed at the end of the year. They were doing their own 5 miles or KMs, I think, maybe in Hong Kong. But that's something they've all got behind. There will be another dinner, which is in the run up to the Hong Kong Sevens this year. They've also got some events that go on around. They have a carnival every year in January, so there'll be a concert in the carnival. So they're doing things and trying to make a difference in Hong Kong, and there's some exciting things and research going on there too. So it's great to see the Hong Kong being able to support things that are going on there too, as well as things that are going on in the UK. It's brilliant to see the community.
Yeah, it's a special place, and I know Doddie loved it. And when he went out for the dinner, when they did the portrait, which now hangs in Edinburgh, just along the road here, that was a big moment, wasn't it?
Definitely. I was in the room then, so that was before my time with the foundation, but I was lucky enough to be in that room. Greatest rugby dinner of all time, and it absolutely was. They pulled out all the stops. I mean, to be in the room when Doddie was up on stage with his portrait was something special, and then you kind of top it off with Billy Connolly walking in as well. You're like, okay, this is a special room with special people, and it was just awesome to see. We've had some great support from the rugby community, the Hong Kong community, and what we've seen in those Hong Kong dinners is you call upon all the ambassadors that go for the Hong Kong Sevens, and that's across many a walk of life in sport. It's not just rugby. So Sir Chris Hoy has been there. We've had Daley Thompson. There's been some amazing people in those dinners that are there with their love for Doddie. So it's a special night. It really is.
It's incredible. Jeez, I wish I was there. And now we're into Doddie, as we were saying. I've mentioned it a few times. 13,000 people signed up over the course of the Doddie. I think we're over £5 million raised. 100,000 people, 9.5 miles walked, run, cycled, various things. The enthusiasm for it is inspiring and just incredible, isn't it?
It is. It's when you look and see what people do, the lengths that they go. I myself did a Doddie Duke, but there is photographic evidence that will not be on display. But I did that this year myself, and it's exactly what Luke was saying. You know, when you wake up in the morning and think, well, what can I do? I was probably still topped up on champagne or something, but it felt like the right thing to do and challenge myself, and I did it. But some of the things that people do are just bordering nuts, but it's wonderful to see it, and it makes us smile so much, and that inspires other people to do it. So I'm sure there's going to be many people looking for where that nut house is so that they can go and get that photo. It's just brilliant, and that's the thing, it sort of feeds it. And you think, you called out Mari, and you see her with the iconic Eiffel Tower behind her, and you're like, okay, right, I'll do that. And how many photos will we get as soon as we get into Six Nations of our Doddie at Murrayfield, or some other sporting statue draped with a Doddie Aid banner, or a scarf or something, because that's what we do. We look for silly in every day, and when you find some fun, you should celebrate it and do it, because at the end of the day, we know the reality of the disease is awful. So Doddie's mantra, love, hope and fun, and that's what we're trying to do. Every step that we take to raise money, we want people to enjoy themselves doing it, because life's too short, and we do that. So yeah, I haven't come across yet my silliest thing that I've found yet, but I know as the as the campaign marches on, something will definitely catch my eye. And there is a cycle ride coming up, which inevitably there'll be some amazing stories that come from that of general hijinks.
Yeah, I love listening to you talking, because you said to me once this was like a dream job, because you're doing the thing you can do, but you're doing it in an environment with an organisation that is really meaningful for you, and you can tell that in the way you're talking. Give us a bit of a state of the nation, Nicola, if you can. People, sort of foot soldiers, like most of the people who are watching, we sign up to Doddie, we get our snood, we go out, we post the pictures, we try and raise money, we attend the events, we champion it. But sometimes we don't know maybe the detail of the work that the foundation is actually doing. So can you maybe pick out a couple of highlights for us, please?
Yeah, certainly. There's loads of information on the website, so please go on and have a look at it. Challenge us on it. Tell us the things you like and the things you don't. We welcome all the feedback on there, because there's so much content that we can share, and we want to share it. But if I could boil it down to a real key highlight, was towards the end of last year when we went public with, okay, how much have we committed to M&D research? And that was incredible to be saying, we've given a commitment of over 18 million to research, and that's our primary aim. But in that time, the 7 years that we've been in existence, we've committed 2 million as well to support and care. And it's important, for sure it's important, but for me, the 18 million going into research projects is incredible. And we've been as transparent as we can be and trying to make it digestible for the community to look and see, well, what does that actually mean? So you can go on, you can see the projects that we're funding, but there's some incredible things being done by brilliant scientists that we are very, very proud to call our advisors. So the amount of money that we've put into research, I'm incredibly proud of that. Another thing that I'm so passionate about is being able to engage those scientific advisors, but also bring M&D patients and people that are part of that family into those meetings. So we are absolutely so appreciative of the Duke of Buccleuch, who hosts these meetings for us. And they're quite absolutely, hats off to him for sure. They're quite intimate, but you get real traction when you talk and you get the updates from the scientists. And progress is really difficult to measure in this. So it's so encouraging to hear Luke say there is progress. And Luke was at the last scientific advisory meeting, so it was great to have him in the room along with some other people. And what that brings the scientists is sometimes people get caught up in their bubble and they're doing brilliant work, but they're removed from the people that are living with MND. So having people like Luke in that room, it kind of keeps them honest. And actually, throughout those scientific advisory meetings when they started off, and Doddie was in the room, Doddie kind of, held their feet to the fire, and that's what they do. And it does bring that sense of urgency. But one thing that came out really loud and clear in the last meeting we had was we want it to be, progress. We want hope, but we don't want false hope. So we're really, really keen to make sure that the messages that we give are as honest as we can. We know that there's systems and processes that we have to go through. So we're working with the system and making sure that our voice is still on point. We're questioning things when we can, but we know that that system exists for a reason. And that's why, the campaign we were involved in a few years ago, the United to End MND, where the patients got together along with the 3 charities, and we really lobbied the UK government at the time, and 50 million was put into MND research. So, being part of that system and being able to push is something that we're really, really proud of. So there's many things I'm proud of. And you said that it is a dream job. I never thought I would be doing this, and with such an amazing team around me, it's a pleasure, it's a privilege, it really is.
I love it, and it comes through every time I talk to you about it. I love it, Nicola, and hairs on the back of my neck were standing up at a few points there. Do you know, I've been involved in, I'm a bit of a Doddie pest, and I'm at most things, but do you know where I found where the communities came together? I'm going to start crying here, but before we left Murrayfield to go on the cycle from Murrayfield to Rome, and the team I was with went the long way, but Professor Tom Gillingwater he closed the lab that day to come and see us off at Murrayfield. And it was the meeting of 2 quite different worlds. These scientists who didn't look like they wanted to get on a bike, and none of us should ever be let loose in a lab. But these 2 groups that are really important to the foundation, those raising awareness and raising money, and those who are doing the research. And we came together at Murrayfield, which is a place that means a lot to me and to lots of people involved in the foundation. And Tom said this thing that stuck with me, that we're parts of a jigsaw. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was a really cool way to put it, because I sure as damn can't do what they're doing. And I don't think they could probably do what lots of the other people involved in Doddie are doing. And, Luke spoke about doing a little bit, but it's all these little bits that add up to the greater thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the reception we get from the scientific community is impressive. They want to be part of us. They want us to help amplify what they're doing. We partner with other organisations to make things happen. We are we are indebted to them, no doubt. And it's certainly something that we enjoy. So when we do ask them, would you come to an event? Can you talk to us about this? Can you help us really understand it? Because they're the experts. They take so much time, and they do it with an open heart. They're incredible people, and we're so lucky to have that in this world where they want to give that time back. And so anything we can do to make their life easier and fund, we try to do that.
Yeah, I love it. Let's have a look at the leaderboard, Nicola, because being a bean counter, you like some numbers. They just scare me. So the leaderboard, I think we've still got Scotland way out in front. Look at that too. I can't even say that number of how far Scotland have got. Let's just say it's far. 9,000. It would be amazing to get Scotland to 10,000, and that's got to be achievable. Come on, people. Team England are doing pretty well there. Wales are climbing. Ireland still. But that group of people are accumulating a huge distance and creating quite the vibe, aren't they?
They are. They're just incredible. Every single mile that's clocked, every single person that works in, putting those miles in and getting their Doddie snoods is just incredible. Hats off to them. That seems to be the order of the day. Hats off.
Yeah, no, I'm keeping mine on because I'm refusing to turn the heating on. My kids are through there huddled together under blankets on the couch, probably not watching this, let's face it. They have to listen to their dad all the time. Nicola, it's been an absolute pleasure to see you again. Thanks so much for coming in and sharing that with us. Lots of great bits there, and there's a lot of love on the comments. And Cherie Gregg's asking, how did she get involved with the research? So you can go and give her a phone now, because let's face it, she's like a dug with a bone sometimes.
I've got her on speed dial, I think Anna tells me.
Nicola, great to see you. All the best. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Awesome. It's so cool when you have people in positions like that who are emotionally invested in it. They want to make it happen. They would be involved even if they weren't employed to be involved. And that, I think, is a great sign. So brilliant. Hats off to Nicola, as she said. So we've seen what you lot have been up to. Great pictures put together with the music. We love that. We've also had another montage put together. See who you can spot. See if you know any of these people. Go for it, Sean. Cue us up.
Hi, Kev Sinfield here, and I'll be running to get my Doddie 8 miles in, helping to raise vital funds for motor neuron disease research. What about you?
I'll be dancing to get my Doddie miles in.
I'll be climbing the beaches of Portrush to get my Doddie 8 miles in.
Be rowing, running, skiing, walking and cycling to get my miles in.
I'll be doing whatever activity I can, whether that be running, swimming, cycling.
And I'm going to be running as regular as I can between January the 1st and February the 5th.
I will be logging some miles on the golf course. Very serene, hopefully, unless my golf game gets involved, in which case it could be very stressful.
We're running, cycling, swimming, sliding, almost falling off.
Well, if it was easy to do, a Doddie challenge now would be. I'm about to head into the seas at East Sands Beach in St Andrews. Yeah, it was a challenge.
The rain doesn't bother us, so if you haven't signed up yet, then please sign up.
I hope everyone is fully logging their miles for Doddie 8. I hope they're doing it in the same way as I am too.
Honestly, if you're not signed up, it's not too late. It's gonna be great. Scottish weather. You need to get out. It's all good.
We're in this together.
Notice McCoist isn't racking up any miles. Just we're in this together. He's just claiming everybody else's miles. Now, a little fact for you. Mike Tyndall and Kathy Weir were actually on the same beach in Scotland, just 10 minutes difference. That's how it goes up here. How threatening is Scott Quinnell? Like people are now sided up purely because they think he's coming round with Phil and Grant Mitchell. Caroline Blair looks like a flipping model before she goes in. That's just not fair. Vipond slipping. You lot can't see, but I can see Sean, big handsome Sean down here. He nearly peed his pants laughing at Vipond falling his length there. That was gold. Mr. Nail It in one take on the TV, and then he slips when he's doing a video for Doddie. And Ailey Barber, she needs to put a jacket on. She's going to catch the death if she's out golfing in Scotland without a jacket on. But class to have so many people involved. It's been another incredible Doddie live show. Great to hear from Luke and Nicola. Great to see your pictures. Thank you for your comments. And we've got 13,000 people. It's Try Something New week. Here's my challenge to you. Try something new by getting somebody else signed up. 13,000 people signing up a pal, getting somebody a present. There's 26,000 signed up. Let's get more people involved. Invite somebody for a walk. Go for a coffee. Let them buy the coffee and you'll say, or I'll buy the coffee and you sign up, or you buy the coffee and I'll sign you up. Let's face it, coffees now cost a fortune. So you could easily get another snoot. Get involved. Let's get more people signed up because it's making a difference. You heard it from Luke. Lots of little bits. Tom Gillingwater. Pieces of a jigsaw. We're all pieces of that. Do it for those that we know. Do it for Cherie, for Luke, for Nicola, for Stephen, for Ed, for Doddie, for Rob. And on Monday, we're going to say farewell to our great friend Scotty Stewart, who is an incredible guy who posted some pretty tough stuff to read. And I remember speaking to Kelly Brown yesterday, and we were talking about Scott Stewart's funeral on Monday, and we were saying how difficult it was to read his posts, but how much harder it must be to have written them and to be living with MND. Scotty put in a big shift to try and raise awareness and tell the true story of what it's like living with MND, and he wants people to sign up. He's not benefiting from it. He knew he was never going to benefit from it, but he did it because he wanted to give hope to those in the future. Let's send him off by signing more people up to Doddie, because Scotty was a top man. Great guy. And nobody deserves this crap. So let's see what we can do to make it better. You people are inspiring. I love seeing your pictures. I love the comments. Look after each other. Get out and about. Enjoy this weekend. Try something new. And let's smash this thing. Doddie is well and truly up and running. We're 8 days in. We've got a fair bit to go until we get to February. Let's go for it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Come back next week. We've got heaps packed in next week because we've got so many people queuing up at the door to get onto this show. And maybe I'll not get to talk for as long because we'll have lots of people on next week. Big thank you to Luke and Nicola. Big thank you to all you for tuning in. Big thanks to Sean for pushing the buttons. We'll see you next week. Doddie, Doddie, Doddie.
Hi, it's Mark Beaumont and I'll be taking part in Doddie Aid 2025 to raise vital funds for research into motor neuron disease. And I'll be cycling, of course, the best activity of all. Beat that!
There's only one activity for us. Rugby, just like Doddie.
We just go for a walk. We don't really do swim caps. No offense.
Well, I agree, ladies, but personally, I prefer something a wee bit more relaxing.
On air in 5.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Whoa. What's all this talk about the best activity? It's about finding what works for you.
Whatever you choose to do, just make it count.
Join Doddie Aid today. Pick your activity, log your miles, and help us tackle motor neuron disease.
We're
in
this together.
Try to keep up, Mark.